tracks. It's actually a law. They passed a law about this, but I used to put them on train tracks when I was a kid. And this one day, the train didn't come, so I decided to walk down where the train came, you know, because you put the penny and then it flattens them, obviously. So I decided to walk in the direction that the train normally comes in, and I round the bend, and I look up and I see the train, and it's pointed right at me, but it isn't moving, it's stopped. And then I see the car, and it looks like a car. I know it's a car, although it's smaller than a car should be, it's kind of smashed. And then I see this lady, and she's screaming. I tried to get his attention to tell him to go around. There was a car in the way, but he just kept going and going. And then there's this guy who looked like he was driving the train, and because he's wearing a uniform, and he's like really upset. He keeps sitting up, standing down, sitting down, standing up, sitting down, and he's smoking, and he's like, I can't steer. The track is right out in front of me. And he's really upset about this. And I was watching him, and I thought to myself, I know just how he feels. I often feel like that. I can't steer. The track is laid out before me. I have this friend. I grew up Mormon and in Salt Lake City, and she's Catholic. And whenever I'm with her, I can't steer. She is driving the train. She's wild, and I am easily manipulated. That's just how our friendship goes. Whenever we go out together, she lays down the track, and there's always a crash. It's just the way it works. So one night, several years ago in New York City, I was walking on 42nd Street because I wanted to see the art. There used to be art on 42nd Street, art and porn. Now it's totally different. It's Disneyized. But we had gone to see Kiss the Spider-Woman, the musical. Partially we went because we just wanted to see Cheetah Rivera, and she was fabulous, of course. But partially we went because we just could not imagine the story as a musical. It was sick fascination. Sick fascination is often a mistake. So we left the theater and we walked over to the Algonquin Hotel because I've always wanted to be Dorothy Parker. As a little Mormon girl growing up in Utah, the idea of being an alcoholic writer in New York City surrounded by witty, pithy intellectuals was just too enticing. So as we're reading the Algonquin, my little Catholic friend turns to me and says, "Do you want to do acid?" And I do, but not in New York City. I'm from Utah. I'm used to doing acid in this desert in southern Utah. I've never done big heavy drugs where I can't see the stars, but I can't steer. So I take a quarter a hit, she takes the rest of mine, plus her own. That was probably the first mistake of the evening. We're walking along 42nd Street looking at the art and porn, and my friend says, "Let's go to the vault." At the time, my friend was working at the vault as a dominatrix. She considered it acting. So now, I had never been to the vault, and I was not very supportive of my friend's acting career choice. And I've been very vocal about this, but looking at the art and porn on 42nd Street on acid, it seemed like not a horrible idea. So that was our second mistake. We head to the vault, we get in, it's dark and sweaty, there's just this one hallway leading back, and there's rooms on either side, and I glance in, and I just see more than I've ever seen in my entire life, and I watch a lot of documentaries. So it's really loud, my heart is racing, and I can't, this little bit of acid is not helping to clarify the situation. We get to the domination room, and there's this guy on a wheel-like thing in the corner, and I'm just desperately trying to find somewhere to rest my little Utah head eyes. And unfortunately, this is not at all like when you're in the desert and the silence is overwhelming and the stars are bright. This was not like that at all. So I think to myself, well, this is a bit of a predicament. And some little lady in a short dress, like I wore for Easter Sunday pictures when I was 3 or 4, sees me, every pedophile's fantasy. And she says, "Now, is this your first time here?" And I feel like it might be a trick question, so I say, "Yeah, but my friend from Utah works here." And she looks at me like she doesn't believe me. I take a breath, I turn my head, I turn to my friend and I say, "So, this is where you work, huh? Where's your desk?" And she starts to explain explained to me how it all works. She's got an appointment book, and you can either do it here or there are private rooms in the back. And then she's going on continuing, but I didn't hear what she said because she starts talking to one of her regulars who looks a little bit like my junior high school principal. And again, I can't help thinking about those drug propaganda films from junior high. The announcer's voice starts up. She thought it would be fun until Johnny thought he could fly. Questioning how much of it is propaganda at this point, my friend takes my hand. She's leading me back to one of the private rooms. And she says, "Oh, come on, he's going to pay for everything. Drinks, private time, it'll be fun." I try and stop, but, you know, I'm not going to, I say, no, I don't think this is a very good idea. I'm not going to do this. And she said, no, I'm not working. We're just here as spectators. I just want you to see what happens here. So we get into the back. There's a quieter back room. There's a couple of small groups of people in all the corners. There's a table of men in suits, and on their knees in front of them are other men, 9 on the men in the seats, shoelaces. There's a beautiful model couple who walks past us, and my old principal is now pouring drinks from some bottle that he pulled out from his bag or couch or something. And I start to get really paranoid about drinking anything I can see get open. I'm turning to Howard Hughes, but I can't control it. I find the drink and I ask the waitress for water, but I tell her, I won't drink it if the seal is broken. And she doesn't even look at me like every single person has a little tick in this club. So I sit in the booth. We decide now is a good time to balance our trip. Drugs, much like the ecosystem, very delicate balance. So we light up a joint, and the first girl comes out, kneels down on the dirty floor in front of the principal, and my friend apparently recognizes this behavior, and she says, she's probably Catholic. And we're laughing, and the girl finishes, comes over, asks us if we would want anything, and my friend asked her if she's Catholic, and I think she was. And the next girl comes out, and she's scary. She looks like she could just as easily kill you as have sex with you. Whatever happens is fine. We both say, oh, she's born again. And I think about a girl I know in Utah whose mom was born again. She saw Jesus in the extra refrigerator on the porch, so she'd often sit out there bathed in the refrigerator light, talking to the Tupperware. And this little girl finishes and comes over to us, and we go, "Are you born again?" And indeed she was. And at this point, we're laughing. We're like, we have a skill. My friend said, "I'll bet you're the only Mormon here." And I look over at this cute little gay boy couple making out in the corner. I doubt it. So I come up with this idea that we should have a TV show. We call it Name Her Religion. We go all around the country, and we'd interview strippers and sex workers, and you could place bets and win prizes. And the next girl saved me from this tangent. She asked us to follow her into another private room in the back, and she is beautiful, this girl. She's like maybe Filipino. She looked like she was 14. I hope she was older. We walk in the next room. She's dancing, and her dance is not so much about movement and, sexuality. It's more about objects and where they go. And it's not really important to describe it in great detail, but I'll just say a lot of it looked incredibly painful. So it hits me that there are more and more rooms in the back, and this is never going to stop. This thought terrifies me. This is when we crash. I look in the bar mirror, and my eyes look so big, and I want them to not have seen all of this. I walk over to the dancer, and I thank her for her efforts, and I tell her to stop, but I think there was a language barrier, but she stopped. And my old principal looks a little hurt, and I kind of understand domination for a second because I want to smack that pout up his fat face. And my friend doesn't want to leave, she's curious what happens next. And I take her hand and I say, no, this time we're leaving. We head back to the Algonquin. That's the last place any of this all made sense. I just wanted witty, pithy, drunken conversation, but Dorothy Parker doesn't live there anymore. I'm sitting down, standing up, and my friend keeps asking me if I'm okay, and I'm like, no, I'm really not. And she apologizes for taking me there, and I ask her to quit again, and I'm really adamant about this, and she says she'll think about it, and I realize she probably won't. And I can't stop thinking, my eyes are so big, we should not have seen that. We should not have gone to see Kiss of the Spider Woman, the musical. It all started with sick fascination.